Thanks for joining us. We are on the Ohio Field Leader Roadshow, and we are just outside Orwell, Ohio, Ashtabula County, the farm of Jeff Magyar. Jeff happens to be the chairman of the Ohio Soybean Council this year, and Jeff, we want to thank you for hosting us. Let's start off talking about how the spring has gone so far. A challenging year in some places with wet weather coming across the state over here. I saw some crops that looked really good, some definitely being stressed by the weather, too much moisture, a few fields not even planted. What's the situation here in your area?
Our area is pretty good right in this area. Things were done on time. We didn't get wet till about 10 days ago. Just 5, 6, 7 mile north of here, they're struggling to get finished up because they've been very wet due to lake effect rain.
Now, you raise both corn and food grade soybeans. Talk a little bit about the food grade beans, where they go when they're produced.
We do raise all food graded soybeans. They go to Schwartz Farms, which is 15 miles south of here. There, they're processed and cleaned and go to Japan to the tofu market.
And you mentioned some challenges logistically right now due to container shortages and the issues in the supply chain with getting those containers from the shipping yards and sort of then back to where the buyers are at.
Yes, due to the supply chain issues, the shipping companies want the containers back immediately. They don't want them going to the farm. So that has created a huge issue because a lot of farms in this area and co-ops and that load containers for beans to go to the east.
Now, another thing interesting about your operation is the relationship you have with the local cooperative and sort of the buying and storing of grain. Talk a little bit about that.
Yes, we are a location for Centera Co-op. We receive corn and beans in the fall, do drying of both, and store until Centera sends trucks, depending on where they're going to ship it.
And we can see a very nice grain facility behind us. Sort of an exciting fall last year, not one you necessarily wanted to have, but a dryer fire. Talk a little bit about that and maybe some of the lessons learned.
Yes, if you can see behind, we have a tower dryer. In early November, we ended up having come in from the field. The dryer had shut down and we had a fire. And called the fire department. Fire department came. The mistake we made was emptying the dryer. And after talking to a fire inspector, the way to put a grain tower dryer out is to introduce, as you're draining the burning corn, introduce new wet corn. Was able to salvage a unique opportunity out of this. Our local Farm Bureau, Mandy Orhood, suggested let's have a educational program for firemen and farmers because people don't know how to put a tower fire out. Introducing wet corn just seems wrong, but it wasn't until a fire inspector told me, can you take a Bic lighter and light a kernel of corn? You can't do it. That's the way to put a dryer fire out.
Very interesting. Always lessons learned as we crisscross the state, and great to see the positives that came out to it and the partnership between Farm Bureau, Nationwide Insurance, and your local fire departments and things right here on the farm that everybody can benefit from.
Yes, and I'd like to thank Nationwide and Farm Bureau at the state level for sponsoring these educational classes because farmers don't know, and more importantly, first responders and firemen don't know how to put out a tower dryer fire.
More and more grain facilities going up and a lot of things we just have to learn in the process. Again, we are at the Ohio Field Leader Roadshow stop in Ashtabula County, the farm of Jeff Magyar. Jeff, thanks for hosting us today.
Thank you for coming.